Hello, welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Othello. Now, there's been a lot of drama going on lately about this play and the crazy ticket prices and press tickets being rescinded from reviewers who criticize the ticket prices. So a lot of drama. Unfortunately, that drama isn't on the stage. This is a tough one for me. Normally, I focus on the writing, but when it comes to Shakespeare, I can focus on the writing. It's great. He's not perfect, but usually with a play like a Shakespearean play, it's been tried and true. Brilliant productions have been done. So I'm going to focus more on the acting, the directing, the scenic design, and the costumes. So let's get into it. So this version of Othello is set in the very near future. And I have to say, this felt like a very chill production of Othello. I wasn't sure if it was set in Venice or Venice Beach. Not because of the set, but just because it felt very chill. Like the whole first act, I kept thinking, oh, okay, they're just giving us exposition. We're not really getting into the real dramatic stuff. When we get to the second act, it's really going to take off. And then we got to the second act and it was kind of more of the same. Kenny Leon is the director, and I wasn't a huge fan of Our Town, which was in the same theater, Barrymore, was the last show that was there. Kenny's back with Othello, and a lot of the staging just feels really static to me. Characters stand and deliver their monologues, and it's good because we want to hear what they're saying, so you've got them facing downstage and makes it easier for us to hear them. But it's not very dramatic staging, and Othello is one of the greatest tragedies. It's very dramatic. The set design mainly consists of these large columns that have been distressed and feel like decaying concrete, and they move around, and there's a platform in the center of the stage that they stand on, and then later that they put bedding on it. It becomes a very large California king bed for the penultimate scene. This set design to me didn't scream Othello. It could have been Julius Caesar. It could have been any Shakespeare production. I'm getting really tired of these unit sets where all the scenes can kind of take place in the same space. The penultimate scene in Othello is the bedroom scene, when Desdemona is trapped with her husband, who is blind with jealousy and rage. And we'll get to that scene in a minute, but when you have a set that is completely open, and you've just got a bed in the middle of the stage, there's no claustrophobic feeling there. I feel like she could get up and run away. So for me, I want a set for Othello. I want to feel, especially in that bedroom scene, I want to feel that there's no escape for her. It makes it more dramatic. So let's talk about the actors. Let's talk about the performances. We've got Denzel Washington in the role of Othello. Now, first of all, I want to say, I hate criticizing actors because these are great actors. They have proven themselves to be very capable actors. And normally with a production, I don't fault actors because the director chose them. In a case where you've got Hollywood stars coming into a show, they're the reason for the production. So I feel like they are more open for criticism. But who am I to criticize these great actors? But I shall try. So for Othello to really be powerful, we have to like Othello and we have to like Desdemona, and we have to believe in their love at the beginning of the show. So then when it all goes wrong, it's tragic. We get basically two speeches to fall in love with these characters. We get the speech when Denzel talks about how Desdemona fell in love with him when he was telling his stories of his youth and all his trials and tribulations. And then we later get a speech for Desdemona where she explains to her father why she loves Othello. And what happened is Denzel was so stoic, military at the beginning, that I don't know, I just didn't really feel the tenderness. He felt more like a father figure for Desdemona. And I mean, he's 70 and she's probably 30 or 40 in this. And then when Desdemona came on, first of all, she was dressed in a white gown that I wasn't sure if it was her wedding dress, because when we meet Othello, he's getting dressed, like maybe they just consummated their marriage, and he's getting dressed to go meet these senators. And then when they call for Desdemona, she shows up in this white dress, which I guess is supposed to be her wedding dress. And it just seemed a little strange. I was like, she put her wedding dress? I don't know. I'm getting caught in the weeds here. But I also feel like Othello and Desdemona, I didn't really feel like they generally felt concerned about Desdemona's father and the fact that they eloped, that Desdemona lied to him and that he stole her, in a sense. And so they didn't have a lot of care towards her father. They seemed kind of like, well, we're in love, so F you, we don't care. This is what I felt watching the show. First press preview on Wednesday. I just felt with Othello, I didn't have a lot of love for him at the beginning because he was so stoic. And then as he becomes more and more jealous, the jealousy didn't turn into a blind rage as much as it turned into insanity. I wasn't sure if I was watching King Lear or if I was watching Othello, because his portrayal of Othello is like he's losing his mind. And Desdemona, her delivery of the text is really great. She's very clear. I could understand everything she said. Not so much for Denzel. He has moments where he would get kind of quiet or he'd kind of brush over some text, and which is fine for when you're speaking regular English, but when you're doing Shakespeare, a lot of attention needs to be paid to the words, because if we don't hear them, it's hard to glean things. So Desdemona, I thought she's lovely. She fits the part. She was very clear. I understood what she was saying. I felt, though, her costuming, we start out with kind of casual clothes. This is set, basically it's set present day, because I don't know what the near future is. It feels like next week. And so they start out in kind of casual clothes, and then they go to the Senate and the men are all in suits. And then when we get into the rest of the play, when they go off to war, everyone's just in military fatigues, except for Desdemona, who keeps wearing these fabulous outfits. And she felt a little bit like a paper doll to me, like the costumer was just dressing her up. And always when she came on with these beautiful outfits, I was always be like, where is she coming from? Like, why is she dressed like this? It just seemed odd to me. Let's get to Iago, Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought he started out really strong. He was really funny when he does his impressions of Othello as Denzel Washington. I thought that was really funny. He's really focused on his revenge, which is good, but I felt he was very single-minded, which is good, but it became very one-note for me. He's just revenge, revenge, I've got to get revenge. And I really wish that he would have shown us how he was feeling in the moment when his plans were going as he expected. I wanted him to take some glee in that, some delight. I feel like Iago is the smartest man in the room, and he knows it. And he is really duplicitous in the way he's playing everyone. I just wanted him to take some joy in that. He just seemed so angry throughout and just, I'm gonna get Othello. And I wanted some joy in there, which would make me like him a little more, because he's a bad dude. So let's get to Amelia. Amelia, played by Kimber Elaine Sprawl. Loved her, very clear with her diction, really understood, very motivated. I really liked her as an actor, but she has been tasked with a very difficult situation in this play, because they have decided to make her a soldier. So not only is she married to Iago, who's also a soldier, who's an ensign, she also seems to be a low-ranking soldier. So the first time we meet her, she is dressed in fatigues. And I was confused. I was like, wait, those are Amelia's lines, aren't they? Why is this soldier saying them? So I really didn't know it was Amelia until after she'd spoken for a while. I went, wait a minute, this is Amelia. She's a soldier? And she's also the maid to Desdemona. I just was confused about what her role was. And then also, she's having to play a soldier, which is a very different demeanor, and then this best friend of Desdemona and a helper. And she's also, Amelia is clueless as to what her husband is doing. So I just felt like they gave her a really hard task to try to juggle these two ideas. Let's get to some of the performances that I really enjoyed. Rodrigo, Anthony Michael Lopez, this is the role to have. He's the funny guy in a very dark show. So loved him. The poor guy's just being used so mercilessly by Iago. He's spending all his money. Such a pawn. I thought he was amusing. I really loved his performance. I saw, as Brabantio, I saw the understudy, who was Greg Wood, but I thought he was great. I understood every single word he said. I understood exactly how he felt about Othello. I felt exactly how he felt about Desdemona. Most of his scenes are right in the beginning. He's dead by the second act of old age, I guess. And Cassio, played by Andrew Burnap, fits Cassio perfectly. He's handsome, he's strong. I thought his acting was great. The only thing I would have asked for more is I like to see a little more that he's a short fuse before he gets drunk, and that the drunkenness then allows that short fuse to come out. It kind of came out of nowhere, and I guess that happens. Sometimes people get drunk and they just flip, and that's what was going on with this Cassio. But I thought he was well cast and good in the role. All right, I'm done with all the acting. Let's get into some themes of the show. I think a really heavy theme of the show is racism, right? Othello is the Moor. He's not Othello. Everyone calls him the Moor. It feels like a slur to me. And no one more so than Iago and Brabantio, the father of Desdemona. Both seem really upset that a black man is marrying his daughter. He even says he'd rather that Rodrigo had him, even though Rodrigo is a Latino. So, hey, it's like, it feels very racist. Like, I'd rather you with the lighter skin have him. And Iago constantly is the Moor, the Moor. They all seem very racist, right? Am I wrong here? So when we meet Emilia, she's a woman of color, and she's the wife of Iago. And I just was like, wait, what? Isn't he racist? But he married a black woman? Is he only racist against black men? So something I thought was being developed in the beginning of the show just went out the window there. Confused by that. Also, Cassio beats up a black soldier when he gets in the fight. So again, I was like, is Cassio racist? But yet he's the lieutenant to Othello. So I don't know. Are we doing non-traditional casting with the color? But then when it's a show that seems to be about racism, that seems like an odd choice. Just saying. All right, not that everyone needs to be white, but Iago marrying a black woman, Cassio beating up a black man, okay, maybe that's what really pissed Othello off. Okay, I can see that. All right, what I love about Shakespeare is whenever you see it, it speaks to much larger themes. So as I was watching this, I was reminded of the Obama presidency and all the heat he got and all the racism that came out then, and it continues to come out. So that's a nice subtext. Nice? That's a interesting subtext. So let's talk about technical aspects now. There's a slap that happens when Othello lashes out unprovoked at Desdemona because he thinks she's cheating on him. And that slap was staged so that he slapped her towards downstage. And there had to be a good foot between his hand and her face. And I just technically, I was like, can we rehearse that a little more? And maybe we slap her going upstage, so then we don't see that huge space. It's almost laughable when that happens because you're like, he didn't hit her. And it's supposed to be dramatic. The other technical aspects I had just with the staging was so static. To get back to the scene in the bedroom, Desdemona wakes up, she's lying on the bed, and then she's kneeling on the bed. She never moves from that bed. Your husband's about to kill you. And maybe the choice was that she's just going to death like a lamb to the slaughter, like she's Jesus or something. But that's not dramatic to me. I want to feel the claustrophobia of being locked in a room with a man who is blind with rage. I want to be so scared for her and feel like there is no escape. I want her pacing around the bed. I want her kneeling on the floor. I want her touching Othello. I want her running away from Othello. I want him blocking the door. I want her calling for Emilia and then realizing she's not there because Othello told her to dismiss her and she did what she was told. That scene, I just kept saying, you know what, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. And then when it didn't, my heart was broken. And then I just went with the rest of the show. The moment where Emilia reveals the secret about the handkerchief and Iago is trying to stop her, he's standing right next to her, and yet he gets one line where he's like, Emilia? And I was like, grab her, shake her, stop her from saying she's about to expose you. She's going to mess it all up. And she's a soldier now, so I just wanted If she's a soldier, give me a fight between her and her husband. Give me some physicality. Another place that I really missed the emotion, some physicality, was they sing this beautiful song, Emilia and Desdemona, and they both have beautiful voices. And they're sitting on a bench, and Emilia's standing behind Desdemona, and they're looking out, and they're singing the song. And I wanted them to touch each other. This is their last moment. There's a sense that Desdemona knows that there's something wrong with her husband. And so this needs to be the calm before the storm. This needs to be a moment where her spirit is being spoken to. She's singing to soothe herself, to relax herself. And it was just them singing out to the void. Oh, guys, I hate to be this critical. It's Shakespeare. I want it to be great. So I'm going to give you some caveats about this show. First of all, you can't get a ticket. It's sold out. These are expensive tickets. They are doing a lottery for $49, and those are partial view, but honestly, this thing is staged mostly in the center of the stage. So I was in a partial view. I could see everything. There's maybe 1 second where Cassio went a little too far upstage. I couldn't see him. But for the most part, you can see. So those tickets are worthwhile. They're going to be hard to get. But let me tell you, it's okay if you miss this production, because it's not the greatest production of Othello. All right, so was I bored? Yes, I was bored during the first act, and second act I wasn't bored because the writing's great, but then I was just confused. I was confused throughout about a lot of these directorial choices. Guys, okay, so reasons to see the show. If you have $1,000 and you don't have anything else to do with it, send it to me. Okay, but if you don't want to send it to me, buy a ticket to Othello. I think there are like single seats left. It's basically sold out for the run. I'm sure on the black market, you can probably find some really expensive tickets. So a reason to see the show too is just to hear the text, because it's Shakespeare and I adore hearing the text. I love hearing those, the two-backed monster, you know, these phrases that have become famous that Shakespeare coined. I love hearing that. I love hearing the text. A lot of these actors, especially a lot of the senators, I thought were really great. For the most part, the text is being delivered pretty clearly in a way that you can at least enjoy the beauty of Shakespeare's language. Hopefully, as the run progresses, the drama will get better, the slaps will get better, everything will gel and get better. I'm planning on that. So if you're seeing it later in the run, that's a good thing. And if you do see it later in the run, please let me know if the drama has finally coalesced and it's really working. Okay, this review is way longer than it should be, and it just was me complaining. And I'm sorry about that. I really want to see great shows that I can rave about. So thanks for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, go check out Othello if you're a millionaire.
Don't bore me, don't confuse me. If you do, then you'll